Hey everyone! Okay, so have you ever watched an incredible athletic performance? Maybe a sprinter just blasting across the finish line, or a gymnast sticking a literally impossible landing, and thought to yourself, how on earth do they actually do that? It's super easy to assume the secret to getting better at physical stuff is just, trying harder, pushing further, or sweating more. But the truth? It's actually much simpler than that. What those top performers are really doing is following a highly effective blueprint based entirely on the basic rules of movement. So in this explainer, we're going to break down the cheat codes for human performance. We're going to figure out the exact mechanics, the real nuts and bolts of what goes into making the human body move so efficiently and powerfully.
So that brings us to a really foundational question. How do athletes perform so well? When we watch people absolutely crush it in sports or activities, it looks like magic. But I promise you, it's pure mechanics. Great performance really just comes down to learning how to organize your body parts to move through space without wasting any energy. It's about organizing your body to interact with the physical world in the absolute best way possible. And hey, you definitely don't have to be a pro to use these secrets. Anyone can apply these principles to move better, feel better, and perform better in their everyday lives.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our simple roadmap for today's explainer. We're going to explore three core pillars. Number 1, skilled movement. Number 2, motion and force. And number 3, stability.
Let's start right off with Pillar 1, skilled movement. Whenever you run, play tennis, or even just walk up a flight of stairs, you're using muscles and joints in very specific ways. When muscles work, they contract. Now, if a muscle actually changes its length while moving a weight, like, say, lifting a heavy backpack up to your shoulder, that's called an isotonic contraction. But if you push as hard as you can against a solid brick wall, where your muscle is flexing but nothing is actually moving, that's an isometric contraction. And your joints? Well, they act like the hinges for these muscles. Bending a joint, like bringing your fist up to your shoulder, is called flexion. Straightening that arm right back out, that is extension.
To really get better, your brain needs a mental map of these skills. Because a basketball shot or a TikTok dance isn't just one move, right? It's a whole combo of specific joint actions. Let's break down some of the big ones. Moving an arm away from your side is called abduction. Think of an alien abducting or taking something away. Bringing it back to your side is adduction. You're adding it back to your body. Turning a joint, like twisting your torso, is rotation, while making a massive full circle with your arm is circumduction. Even your feet and hands have their own special moves. Rolling your ankle in or out is inversion and eversion. And flipping your palms? Well, facing them up like you're holding a bowl of soup is supination. Flipping them to face down like you're dribbling a basketball is pronation. True skill is just your brain knowing exactly which of these moves to fire and when.
And that brings us to Pillar 2, motion and force.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that every single physical activity you can think of can be split into two simple categories: sending force out into the world or absorbing force back into your body. It's such a cool way to categorize human movement. You're basically either pushing energy into your environment or you're taking energy from your environment and trying to manage it safely.
Let's look a little closer at the first half of that equation, actions that send force. Our source highlights three main ways we do this: striking, throwing, and propulsion. And honestly, you already know these from your everyday life. When you hit a volleyball or swing a baseball bat, you're striking, sending force right from your body into the object. When you toss a football across the field, you're throwing. And propulsion? Well, that's just a fancy word for pushing off. When you push your legs against the ground to sprint or jump up to grab a rebound, you are sending force into the floor to propel yourself forward or upward. All of these require generating power and pushing it out.
On the flip side, we've got actions that absorb force. Because generating power is awesome, but if you don't know how to take force back in, you are definitely going to get hurt. Our source categorizes these as catching, receiving, and landing. Think about how we safely take in force. If someone throws a fast dodgeball right at you, you don't hold your arms out super stiff, right? No way. You let your arms give a little bit to soak up the impact. Or think about landing after jumping super high. You never land with perfectly straight, locked knees. Absorbing force safely is all about bending your joints like shock absorbers on a car, spreading out that shock so your body stays perfectly intact and ready for the very next move. Which brings us to our third and final pillar, stability.
Think of your base of support as your foundation. It's kind of like the base of a video game character. Whenever you're standing, your base of support is simply the area between your feet. If you stand with your feet squeezed tight together, your base is really narrow, and honestly, a gentle breeze could probably knock you over. But plant your feet wide apart and boom, you are instantly grounded and steady. Every single athletic movement requires you to constantly manage and adjust this base of support just to stay upright.
Now, connected to that is your center of gravity. That is the balancing point of your body's weight, and it usually sits right around your belly button. As long as you keep your belly button directly over that space between your feet, you won't fall. It's exactly like balancing a book on your finger. But the second you lean too far outside your footprint, gravity pulls you down. And this is exactly why athletes bend their knees and lower their hips when they need to change direction super fast. They are literally dropping their center of gravity closer to their base of support to maximize their stability.
So the crucial point is, how do we actually put this all together to enhance performance?
Our source gives us this highly effective, super simple 3-step cycle. First up is observation. You just watch the movement. You can do this with a coach or, honestly, just by filming yourself on your phone. Second is analysis. This is where you put on your detective hat. Are your joints using the right flexion or extension? Are your muscles firing isotonically when they should be? Is your base of support too narrow? Are you absorbing force poorly on your landing? And finally, the third step is improvement. Once you analyze the specific mechanical glitch, you make the fix. You widen your stance, you adjust your pronation or supination, and you practice that corrected movement. It's just a continuous loop. Watch it, figure it out, fix it. So, let's bring it back to you. Take a look at your own movement. Whether you play on a competitive team or you just enjoy messing around playing pickup games in the park, which of these 3 principles do you feel you need to work on the most? Do you need to refine your specific joint movements and muscle actions? Do you need to get a little better at sending or safely absorbing force? Or maybe you just need to widen that base and lock in your stability. Observe, analyze, improve, and just watch your skills absolutely soar. Thanks so much for learning with me today.